Welcome to the Scottsdale Planning Commission public hearing. The city appreciates your interest and participation in the public hearing process. The Planning Commission serves as an advisory board to the City Council on land use and zoning matters. The hearing agenda items consist of development applications that require public hearings. The Planning Commission considers the item and makes a recommendation for approval or denial to the City Council. The City Council will make the final decision for or against approval of the application. The agenda consists of the roll call, administrative report by staff, public comment for non-agendized items, approval of minutes from the previous hearing, continuances for items that will not be heard tonight, withdrawals, consent agenda items for that not likely to require presentation or discussion, regular agenda items where each item includes a presentation and recommendation by staff, a presentation by the applicant, and public comment. Non-action items are for discussion only items. No vote will be cast by the Planning Commission. Citizens wishing to speak on any agenda item will need to fill out a blue speaker card, or if not willing to speak, they may fill out a yellow comment card and turn it in at the staff table before the agenda item is to be discussed. The chair will call your name when it's your turn to speak. When called, please come to the podium, state your name and address, then begin speaking. Groups wishing to speak should elect a spokesperson to represent the views of the group. To facilitate the meeting, your comment will be limited to 3 minutes for individual speakers, 1 additional minute for each additional individual who is present at the hearing and has contributed their time to a representative speaker, up to a maximum of 10 minutes total. Please format your speech to fit within the allotted time. A light system is installed at the podium for timing presentations. The light will be green for 2 minutes, yellow for 1 minute, and red when your time is up. Please conclude your comments when the red light appears. Thank you for your interest and time. Now we'll begin the hearing with a roll call.
Chair Young?
Here.
Vice Chair Scarborough?
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Present.
Commissioner Ertel?
Here.
Commissioner Joyner?
Here.
Commissioner Drake?
Here.
6 here, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're on to public comment, which is non-agendized items, and it looks like we do have one speaker for that. It's either Steve or Krista Cross. Yep, right there, thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Steve Cross,
Krista Cross.
9201 East Happy Valley Road is our proposed site. Our home address is 10231 East Saltbush Drive, Scottsdale, Arizona. We came tonight just to quickly introduce a proposed project that we have. Krista Cross is going to do a micro school, with your approval, of course, of 40 students. She wants to lease 2 existing classrooms in the education building of the Living Water Church at 9201 East Happy Valley Road. Chris would like to speak now.
Sure. Just letting you know, I do have more than 30 years of education experience, and I have 21 years of running a school. I've actually been requested to start this micro school. The area is underserved at this time, so I'm hoping that we can get something through so that the next school year, the students I currently have will still have a home with me.
If you have any questions, please let us know. And the existing building, we want to emphasize, it's a 4,000 plus square foot education building at Living Water Church on the south side of Happy Valley Road, east of Pima Road. Thank you.
Thank you. On to the administrative report, Mr. Curtis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. Just wanted to draw your attention to additional correspondence that's in front of you that we received today. I think there's correspondence on each of the cases on the agenda today, so I wanted to draw your attention to that. And then our next regular scheduled meeting is February 11th, but as of right now, we don't have any cases scheduled for February 11th, so we may end up canceling that one. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the minutes. Are there any changes or a motion?
Chair Young, I make a motion to approve the January 14th, 2026 amendments as provided.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Young,
Yes.
Vice Chair Scarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Ertel,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Drake.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, well, on our agenda, we've got 4 cases, all on consent right now. Is there anybody that wants to move anything?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes, I'd like to move, I'd like to have a presentation on the, move the consent agenda number 2, 3, 4, and 5 onto a regular agenda, if I could, please.
Okay, so you want to move everything to regular agenda? Okay,
Yes, thank you.
all right. All right, well, how the action agenda works. The Planning Commission may take one vote to act on all items on the continuance agenda and one vote on all items on the consent agenda. We've pulled everything off of consent. We will be moving on to regular agenda where we will vote on each item individually. And then any persons interested in commenting on any item may complete a comment card that I mentioned earlier for each item and submit those to staff. So why don't we start with regular agenda item number 2, 6AB 2024.
Good evening. Chair Young, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Jason Katz with Planning Department, here to present 6AB 2024, the 114th Street abandonment. Here's the overall site context aerial, just south of Shea Boulevard on the 114th Street alignment. Closer look. This yellow outline is the abandonment area, 30 feet on the east, 25 feet on the south. And the zoning, all within R143, whether under PCD or PRD to the east and west. Action request is to make recommendation to City Council to adopt this resolution number 13595. History of this abandonment area, rights of way were dedicated to the city in 1980. No roadways were ever developed. And with the platting of the neighboring subdivisions to the east and west, the rights of way were never incorporated or utilized. Current conditions, the north 114th Street from East Barrel Drive is non-contiguous to the north 114th Street south of Shea Boulevard, and the north 114th Street East Barrel Drive at dead ends at the northeast corner of the applicant's property. The southern 25 feet of the right-of-way along the East Gold Dust Avenue alignment serve no purpose but to encumber the applicant's property. Here's another look at that, how the 114th Street just dead ends here at the northeast corner. Does not, this right-of-way was dedicated but never utilized. Impacts of the abandonment, the applicant is to dedicate a 50-foot radius cul-de-sac that will improve circulation at the end of that dead-end road for refuse and emergency vehicles. City will receive compensation for that abandonment of the rights-of-way, and the applicant will increase their buildable area and reduce their setbacks. And with the removal of the setback on the southern, or the rights-of-way on the southern property line, they will no longer be considered front yard, and the owner will be able to build a fence along the drainage easement to prevent wildlife from entering the property. This highlights the cul-de-sac dedication in the green and the drainage easement in the blue. And here's the site plan from the applicant's submittal. Once again, the action request is to make a recommendation to City Council for the adoption of this resolution. And that's my presentation.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Katz? Or should we wait until after public speakers? Okay, we'll wait until after the
I
speakers.
believe the applicant is here as well with the presentation.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
We've been trying for this easement for a couple of years. We are in the process.
Excuse me, could you please state your name and address for us?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Name is Amitesh Kasura, and the address is 11345 East Sparrow Avenue, Scottsdale. And we started this easement and drainage process for around about 2 years ago. We have a lot of javelinas, a lot of wildlife coming in, and we have 2 small kids that are sitting here too. And we come across going in the backyard, a lot of these wildlife people, like dangerous nighttime, they all come in. We have a big drainage easement, so we're trying to put a fence around and block, like there's no privacy in the back, anyone can come in. So we're just trying to put a gate there so we can block that area.
Okay. Is that your whole presentation?
So in terms of the presentation, yeah, that's.
Okay.
What I have.
Does anybody have any questions for staff or the applicant at this time? You have a question for staff? Yeah. Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes, I was going to ask staff a question. The drainage area in I believe it's called the northeast corner there, the drainage area, is that part of a continuous drainage area coming from the east and moving to the west?
The northeast corner or the southeast corner?
Northeast. That's up, is the semicircle up there, is that what you'd call northwest?
That's northeast.
Okay, did I say, I'm sorry if I didn't get that correct. The northwest intersection there, that drainage area is coming, water is coming from east to west?
Along the southern property, yes.
Okay, so in other words, that fence line, does it have at this present time, do you know if it's still being used as a drainage area, or is the water being blocked by that fence wall?
Do you mean the walls on the property lines?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my understanding is that there is drainage openings and culverts in that system for it to drain from east to west from the neighboring.
When you say a culvert, what size is that culvert in there?
I don't have that information available, unfortunately.
So it's like a hole in the wall there, like the fence line. There are gaps under it, but there are some steel bars that let water go, but the gaps are too big, then animals come in too.
Okay, so it's free flowing now, because the only reason why I even asked that question is because it looks to the east of that wall that is, parallel to the flood area there. Kind of looks like that water is being stopped at that point, and it's not really reaching over into that containment area.
Yeah, I believe there's 2 separate functions going on there.
Yes, sir.
East of the property, more north of where the drainage easement is actually a retention pond for the R4 townhouse subdivision to the north.
Right.
And then below that is that drainage flow that goes from east to west.
And as to your knowledge, it's still operating as it was conceived?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Commissioner Joyner?
Thank you for coming. Up on the dais, a bunch of photos are circulating from, I guess, some of your neighbors, and it appears that the back is being used for RV storage. And I was wondering that.
Yeah, so I have some friends, and they didn't have space. They wanted to share with us. They want to share.
You've got a lot of friends.
No, I just told you.
Yeah.
We have 4 friends, and we travel together. We have 4 friends, and then they referred me saying, hey, there are some app you can use if you have extra space. I said, I don't need it, but if that helps them. But I got the notice on Monday. I already told everyone they had to be out. So as per the notice, everyone will be out. So we got the notice on Monday. We did not know that cannot have any parking, so.
So what is your intent for the use of this property?
So we want to make more green grass area for the kids to play, and maybe some tennis space or something for the kids too.
Because right now, the space that you do have before the abandonment is not grassed. It's got RVs on it.
That's what I'm saying. So all those will be gone. We just got the notice on Monday.
Right.
So everything will be gone. I just have a few friends, and I'll tell them to leave too.
Thank you.
So I have a question about that. So was that a code violation then that you received?
Yeah, we just
for that?
received it on Monday, so we cannot have anyone parking, so we can remove it.
Okay. So, and maybe a question for you, Mr. Curtis. I mean, does that basically only get enforced if a neighbor complains that they are still in fact parking RVs?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, yeah, if there's a violation, as appears that there has been, it just goes through the normal process for, just like any other code violation, to correct, and it sounds to me that he's already has a plan for correcting the issue, but it's just a normal code enforcement process that goes through.
Okay, great, thank you.
How long does he have to remove them?
Well, you want to ask?
How long would he have to remove them, or are they already all gone?
No,
These pictures are pretty recent.
yeah, no, we just got it on Monday. The notice was received on
Okay,
Monday, this
okay.
Monday on, I don't know the date, but we received it on Monday, so I told them everyone needs to be out by, I think,
Well, I have an RV, so I know how hard it is to find storage that's affordable.
yeah.
Very little of it is, but still, on a code violation, how long do they have to correct it?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Joyner, typically there's a 30-day correction period, and again, code enforcement uses their best judgment on cooperative compliance, and looks like that's where the applicant's headed, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Because last time the inspector came in to say, hey, I don't have to come in, somebody complained somebody's doing some construction or fixing it, but was coming from the urban park from the back of it, and I told him, you can go ahead and look. I was very cooperative. We were not doing anything. Somebody just parked, and it's not big money. I was just trying to help someone to park because a lot of HOAs, they didn't have space. So that was not an intent to make any money or something. It was just trying to help some folks I know.
Commissioner Tell?
Following up on that, although I think this is getting far afield of the abandonment, but so were you charging your friends for this space?
So I have, no, not my friends. There were 4 people they referred to.
Right.
That's what I charge them. Say, yeah, if you want to park for a little bit. They're only here for like a few months.
Okay, so the code violation was a commercial operation? It wasn't parking RVs per se. It was a matter of making it a commercial operation. Is that correct?
That's what we got. The violation is I cannot be getting paid for it.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
what I got. And
All right, thank you.
So those are all good questions. I think we need to refocus back on the
Yes.
agendized item because we're
far
straying a little bit. So, okay, thank you for that. We do have 2 requests to speak. Mr. Amitash Kasera, which I believe is you. You've already spoken. We've got another Panan Singh.
that's my spouse. So I think she's
Okay.
sitting with a kid. So
Okay, I
Anything
mean,
else?
she's requested to speak. Does she want to speak or?
you would like to? Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
No, I was going to speak, but I think, sorry, my name is Poonam Singh, same address, 11345 East Barrel Avenue, 85259. I just want to echo with what Amitesh was saying. We started this 2+ years ago. I think when we moved in initially, a lot of space in the back, we wanted to build a fence. There was trespassing coming in from the back, so it's really making me uncomfortable when my husband's traveling a lot. So really, that was the intent. So I just want to focus on it took us 2+ years to get where we are for that reason. What we want to do is follow the permit and get this done so we can build a fence and then have enough space for the kids in the back. So I just want to make sure that that's the focus here. The violation, we're abiding by it, we're very cooperative, and we are going to get that done in the timely manner that we got the notice this Monday. So that's already been actively being addressed today, and it's going to be taken care of within that time frame that we've received. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that we're being cooperative and that I want to make sure that our focus is what we're wanting to do here is intently for the children of just having that space for the back. So we don't have a lot of the wildlife coming in, which we've seen a lot. And then just on top of that, we've had folks trespassing in the back as well. So it's not just the wildlife, it is people, because when you see on the main road, on the 114th Street, there's condos right there. Folks are tending to walk with their dogs or walk in the night, and they do use that easement to come in the back to see what's in the back. Is it another pathway? So there is traffic that is flowing there to the back of our house that comes, and we've had folks coming in from our back, coming to our entryway without my notice. So that's making it very uneasy for us. So we just wanted to strictly have that block, have that space to do that. And I think right now with the easement we have, the 114th, you see, our neighbors have parked cars and RVs, and there's a lot of other parking on that easement, on that road to where it leads to our back. There are neighbors that are parking there that are in violation of parking and blocking that space and using that space. So that's a concern because we want to work with the city, and like it said on the PowerPoint before, that we're willing to pay to get that cul-de-sac done and have that clear path, because right now some neighbors are using that as construction work and cars to have that area blocked as well, which is not helping us in what we're trying to accomplish with the city.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, you are. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Gonzalez?
So staff, there's the area that is in blue there, the on the south side, there's no existing fenceway there now separating that easement?
I believe there is a fence along the southern border of the property.
What kind of fence is that? Is it a block fence, a rail fence?
100% certain. I believe it is a block fence.
We can ask the applicant. You can just tell us what.
Property line?
So the southern one where you see the trees where the drainage is?
Right.
Yes, there is some metal fence on, before the easement. The neighbors put some fence before where the bottom red line is. They put a metal fence there. We
So-
haven't put anything. That's why the drainage is open. A lot of animals are coming from the drainage.
Okay, but then I guess maybe so water can flow through that fence, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. And then what you propose is a block wall, or what are you proposing as far as going there? This is not part of the application, but I just wanted to see what type of wall.
So similar fence, the water will flow through, no changes on water flow. We just want nothing coming in, like it's not an easy access, any human or animals coming in without the permission. That's the intent.
Okay. The other question, I guess, is for staff. Is there, is that a drainage issue if they block that wall there? If they put a block fence there?
Chair Young, Commissioner Gonzalez, to my knowledge, the flows go from the east to the west. I don't know what the implications of blocking it north or south would be, but from my understanding, it's going to be a screen wall that will allow water to pass through.
Okay. So you haven't seen the application on the fence yet?
No, we haven't. That wouldn't be submitted usually until after we've gotten the abandonment approved.
After you did that easement? I understand. Okay, thank you, sir.
Now I have one question. While we're looking at this image there, below their easement that we're deciding on, along that line behind all the other properties, is that another easement right there?
Chair Young, Commissioner Drake, yes, there is an equestrian easement, 15-foot equestrian easement that runs the length of that neighborhood to the south for all those horse properties. That was part of a previous abandonment a decade or so ago to remove their right-of-way and leaving that equestrian easement for the horse properties.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, I don't think we have any more questions or comments, so I'll entertain a motion.
Chair Young, if I may make a motion for recommendation for approval to City Council for Case 6 AB 2024, after finding that the proposed abandonment is consistent with and conforms to the adopted general plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Could we get a roll call vote, please?
Chair Young,
Yes.
Vice Chair Scarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
No.
Commissioner Ertel,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Drake.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to item 3, and I assume 4 at the same time, 5 UP 2025 and 6 UP 2025, Old Town Tavern for both the bar use and live entertainment. Mr. Steinke, how are you?
Thank you, Chair Young, Vice Chair Scarborough, Commissioners. I'm Casey Steinke with Scottsdale Planning Department here for cases 5 UP 2025 and 6 UP 2025, the Old Town Tavern bar and live entertainment conditional use permits. See the site location here in the heart of Old Town where Main Street intersects with the Civic Center Mall. And a little closer, highlighted in yellow, is the new site, which is just a stone's throw from where we are right here in City Hall. And this site is zoned C2 commercial with the downtown overlay. Now, for anybody that's spent a good amount of time in Old Town over the past few decades, you may well be aware of Old Town Tavern, which up until recently, for several decades, occupied the area highlighted in yellow. That was back, actually started that prior to when CUPs were needed for both bars and live entertainment, so that area is actually grandfathered out of that. However, the owner is looking to expand his operation into a larger venue just a few feet to the east, the area highlighted in blue. Obviously, that has no such grandfathered status, and therefore, to operate a bar with live entertainment there, he would need 2 conditional use permits, which is what we're here for today. Bear in mind that conditional use permits, they're not associated with a business directly. They run with the land in perpetuity. So even though the operation is ostensibly very similar, it's a new site and therefore requires new use permits. Therefore, the applicant does request that this commission forward a recommendation of adoption of 2 resolutions for each of those conditional use permits to City Council at this new location. And here's a look at the floor plan. The building is, or was and still temporarily is, 2 suites. Currently, Old Town Tavern is operating as a restaurant on the suite, which is highlighted in red, although the game plan is to combine both of these, operate 1 bar for both of them. And the totality of interior space for this is about 4,300 square feet with an additional roughly 800 square feet of patio. And here's some more data about the site. Again, going from what's currently a restaurant operation with the current owner and also a vacant retail into a bar with live entertainment for the whole 6,000 square foot parcel. 6,000 square feet doesn't sound like a lot of space, but because bars with live entertainment are one of the most intensive parking requirements per the zoning ordinance, this would require 58 parking spaces. Obviously, in the downtown area, you have smaller parcels. There's not a lot of them with a lot of on-site parking, and so, or the ability to reasonably add on-site parking. And so a lot of these parking requirements are met through different credits. In this particular case, there's bike credits, but more importantly, this site actually has 15 kind of historic credits. When it was originally built in the 1970s, the Saber brothers contributed money to a parking fund, which gave them 15 parking credits to build one of the parking garages. Incidentally, that's not dissimilar to the program we have now, which is in lieu parking credits, which the applicant is also seeking. They are seeking from council 41 in lieu parking credits to meet this requirement. That's obviously just for the technical aspect of the ordinance. Even though it doesn't matter for meeting the ordinance requirements from a practicality standpoint, there is a surface parking lot immediately adjacent to this site to the north. Obviously, there's on-street parking, and there are several public parking garages in the area, including the Brown Avenue garage, which potentially going forward could actually add more spaces. And the city did its standard outreach to property owners within 750 feet. The owner also did an open house, and Up until today, there were no public comment on this. However, we did receive 2 public comments, which should be in front of you or provided to you when you arrived at this meeting. That's staff presentation. We also have the owner to answer questions and his representative, if you're so inclined.
Thank you, Mr. Steinke. Does the applicant have a presentation or want to come up to speak?
Good afternoon. My name's Cameron Morgan. I'm a local attorney. I live at 6349 North 78th Street. I represent Old Town Tavern, and on behalf of the ownership, staff, musicians, and the patrons of Old Town Tavern, we want to thank you for taking your time to consider our applications. Now, over here is Mr. Mitchell, who owns the place, and some supporters. But I'd like to give you a little bit of a history about Old Town Tavern so you understand what we're doing, or what we're trying to do and accomplish here. Old Town Tavern started off as J. Choose, and back in 1985 there was no live entertainment ordinance. J. Choose was a renowned music venue for Old Town at that particular era. Later it was sold to a guy named Bracken, and Mr. Mitchell bought it from Mr. Bracken in 2009. He's been operating without an entertainment permit because it was grandfathered since that time, for 16 years. The issue of whether he needed an entertainment permit came up and was litigated in the Scottsdale City Court in 2012. Mr. Mitchell won that case, and the city and he have been happy with the results since then. So when his lease came up in October, he had already made provisions to move to the site 30 feet away, which is now called Backdoor Lounge. Backdoor has a Class 12 liquor license. Old Town Tavern had a Class 6. We thought we'd be able to move the Class 6 simply to the 12 location, and that would be fine. It wasn't. The city said, no, you can't do that. You can't have 2 licenses. There was issues with that. So we agreed with planning and zoning that we would get a live permit, we would get a bar license and move the whole caboodle, and we would pay for 40 parking places. Now, Old Town Tavern has a long history. It has been awarded, it's been given awards by New Times. There's all kinds of recording artists that love to come there and play. We would like to continue that for the benefit of the locals and the tourists. Now, there's an issue with respect to noise management. That's a big change in the operation because Old Town Tavern operated with open doors, and outside it was very, very small inside, but very big outside. Now we have a big inside facility and a smaller outside facility. We're going to comply with the noise ordinance, keep the doors closed, and cut down on the amount of music that was currently being played at Old Town Tavern. With respect to the parking, I think we addressed that. There's a parking lot to the north. There's 130 places there. Yeah, there's not going to be much difference in the parking requirements that we had at Old Town Tavern next door as what we've got now, except that it's going to be a much greater cost to the establishment. The neighborhood area considerations are going to be relatively the same. There's only one resident across the way, and they've been happy for 16 years. I don't think anything's going to change with respect to them. Folks, I would request that you go ahead and approve these 2 permits or conditional use permits and allow a sort of an iconic bar, an iconic music venue in Scottsdale to continue to operate. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Is there any questions or comments from the commission? Yes? Commissioner Joyner?
Thank you for your presentation. I do have a question of staff. I think there is a noise ordinance coming forth in the future. So my question is, when that noise ordinance comes forward, regardless of what it is, does it apply to everybody that currently has a permit? Is it, in other words, is it retroactive to all the clubs in the area, or is it only applicable to new permits?
So Chair Young and Commissioner Joyner, so it depends on the applicability section of the noise ordinance, but typically it would apply to activities from the date of the new ordinance going forward. So it really is about the behavior of the activity, unless Mr. Padilla has more information. It is something that the Planning Commission has inquired about in the past, and I would keep tabs on the City Council's agenda, because I know it's still an item that's on their list of things to do, and so I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a work study session on an upcoming council agenda regarding the noise ordinance. But typically, it's about the behavior. It's not a zoning code. It's really a nuisance code, and so it's typically the behavior of the time for the violation.
But my question is will it equally apply to everybody that has a permit already? In other words, it'll be retroactive if it was something that this and other bars operating in the area weren't doing. Would they have to comply with the new ordinance?
So again, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Joyner, they're still drafting it. I don't know about the retroactivity.
Okay.
I just know that typically nuisance ordinances, when they're if there is a nuisance that violates the ordinance, there's typically a violation at that time.
Okay.
I don't know if somebody's behavior can be grandfathered, so to speak.
Okay.
But it's all, those are good questions. It's all about the applicability and the language in the new ordinance in terms of how it would be applied for existing activity or behavior.
Thank you. Well, I've heard nothing but good things about this establishment, but I just want to know, I know what's coming down the pike, so I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Commissioner Gonzalez?
I'd like the staff to basically explain to me a little bit more about the parking. That's my main concern because of that north parking lot that is going to be utilized. How is the 40 spaces being obtained for the usage of this, for this bar?
Chair Young, Commissioner Gonzalez. So the in-lieu program is a mechanism through which the city has a fund, general fund, a parking fund. And the idea is for small downtown parcels, if you can't get the parking, you can pay us a monthly fee, and we will put it into a fund to do stuff like build garages or build on-street parking. There is no dedicated stall or location that's attributed to this owner. It's just a financial transaction for a conceptual, mechanism to handle parking in the future, or current in this case, since we're working on some parking structures.
If I may add, Commissioner Gonzalez, there's public parking to the north as well as the parking structure to the south of this site, and then the on-street parking to the west, and then of course not too far away is the parking lot surrounding City Hall.
May I address the council?
Of course.
With respect to the parking, it appears based on the calculations under the ordinance that we're going to have to pay for 41 places at $150 a month, about $6,000, $6,500 a month. It really help the city in completing the parking garages that it's currently got planned.
Okay.
I guess.
Do you have
I guess mainly my question, what brought forward to is because I know that parking lot pretty well. And during different venues, that parking lot's always pretty full. But as staff has presented, that there's other parking venues that could be utilized at that time. So I see the problem with being that is it's not your problem, it's everybody's problem, that it's an overparked area and everybody has to kind of walk in from different areas. The other problem I probably see on this is that are there going to be outside speakers on the patio?
We've agreed not to put them out.
Okay, so basically, and you're going to keep the doors closed summer and winter time, so there's not going to be any real noise coming into the patio from the interior of the showrooms, the two showrooms, I believe?
Yes, that's correct. We're going to keep the doors closed. Of course, in the summertime, it's important for the air conditioning, but also for the noise. And the doors will come open for staff going in and out to serve patrons. But other than that, there shouldn't be any serious noise issues.
Okay, so it's not going to be like the operation you had prior to this application?
No, it will not.
Okay.
Although that was kind of a fun operation, by the way.
It was noisy. But, we don't have to worry about that. That's not your problem now. So in any case, then, if the patio is a smaller footprint of your area, then the overall square footage is, what did you say, 6,600 square feet, something like that?
No, it's about 5,000 inside and about 800 outside.
Okay, total it's about 6,000. Okay, then then I assume that fire's already passed the occupancy and your ratings and everything like that, and hasn't been any issues?
Fire hasn't given us a new occupancy for the second side yet.
I see. Okay, very good. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
More comment?
So, sir, I have one more question. Just wondering, would you agree that this new location, it will be quieter than what you had before?
I believe so.
Other location?
Yes, I believe it will be significantly quieter.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Commissioner Ortel.
Question for staff. When was the parking ordinance passed? Do you recall? I believe I was on Transportation Commission at the time, and that goes back a few years. I don't think it's been revised since then. Do you have any recollection of when that parking ordinance?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Tell, there's been various changes to the parking code, as you kind of referenced, but the in-lieu parking provision has been in the code for over 20 years. The most recent update made a slight change at one point. Previously, in-lieu parking would allow property owners to purchase as an asset permanent credits, and that had changed at the last go-around to just do monthly lease for the credits.
Okay, the reason I ask was because back when I was on Transportation Commission, that was before Uber and Waymo, basically. I mean, they were there, but they weren't all that popular. And I realized we got to comply with what the law says. You got to have these parking spaces one way or the other. Some could say, well, if you're just paying money, you're not creating any parking spaces, or at least any that are close by. But the reality is that life has changed. We have Waymo, we have Uber. That's how a lot of people get to these bars anymore. So you got to do the parking, which is what you're doing, but it doesn't have to be right next door. If it complies, it complies, but I don't think we should worry about, do we have enough parking because Waymo.
Good point.
Thank you, Chair, or Commissioner Ortel. Are we all good on questions? Okay. As far as the parking, I'm not overly concerned about it. in my opinion, I think there's a fair amount of parking in the area. I've been to the old one and the new one, and I've never had a hard time finding a parking spot. And quite honestly, I think it's good to encourage rideshare, especially with an establishment like this, and keeping people off the road if they've had a little too much. We don't want them really to be driving their cars here. You know, with that said, I don't think that's going to be a real concern to me. Is there any further discussion or a motion? Oh, wait, that's for a different case.
Sorry, you're looking for a motion?
Yeah, I thought we had a speaker for this one, but we don't.
Okay, let's see, I'm going to get the wrong one. I've got to put these two together. Well, this is why I shouldn't volunteer. We got to put two of them together. So I'll just read each one. Make a motion for the recommendation of approval to City Council for Case 5 UP 2025 and Case 6 UP 2025 after finding that the CUP criteria have been met and that the proposed conditional use permit is consistent with and conforms with the adopted general plan per the attached stipulations.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Chair Young,
Yes.
Vice Chair Scarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Ertel,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Drake.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
One last case, item number 5, 7 UP 2025, Alpios at Troon Event Center, Bar CUP.
Chair Young, Vice Chair Scarborough, members of the Planning Commission, my name is Chris Zimmer. I'm a senior planner here with the City of Scottsdale's Planning Department, and I'm here to present to you 7 UP 2025 LPO at Troon Event Center for a Bar CUP. Here's the site, approximately located just due west of the intersection of Jomax and Alma School. Here's a close-up detailed aerial of the specific building site. Just to note, there are no physical changes with this request. It is physically just for the use of the bar permit. The existing zoning surrounding the parcel is C2, which again, bar would be permitted with a conditional use permit request. The action requested is for an owner, request by the owner for a conditional use permit for a bar to be located at 10452 East Jomax Road with central business environmentally sensitive lands overlay. Some history, there are correspondence in front of you right now that do talk about live entertainment. Originally, during the pre-app, we did consider a live entertainment portion to this request, but that has ultimately been withdrawn, and so live entertainment is not a portion of this request. It is strictly just for the CUP for the bar. That ends staff's presentation. The applicant is here if you guys do have any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Zimmer. Does the applicant, would they like to come up to speak?
Hello. My name's Terry Berga Treebwasser. I'm the manager of Alpios at Troon and the event coordinator.
Okay. Are there any questions for staff or the applicant? Commissioner Gonzalez?
Do you want questions now, or do you want to wait till anybody has something to say as far as public comment?
Well, I mean, we can wait till after.
Oh, let's wait.
You want to do it all at the same time? Okay. All right. Doesn't sound like you have a presentation. You just wanted to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I did have a 3-minute presentation.
Oh,
but
yeah, by all means.
Should I get that and read it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I already introduced myself as manager, event coordinator at Alpios at Troon, and I am requesting approval for conditional use permit for bar service that is accessory to a private event center. Operating by reservation only with no walk-in or public bar, no regular business hours, and no live entertainment. Alpio's at Troon functions exclusively as a pre-booked private event venue. Events include corporate gatherings, nonprofit fundraisers, and private celebrations. Alcohol is provided only to invited guests attending these private events and not primary use of space. Excuse me. The request before you today does not involve an expansion of the building, an increase in square footage, occupancy, or a change in the approved layout. This cup simply allows bar service as an accessory use consistent with small private event venues operating under Scottsdale's zoning ordinance. There's no walk-in customers, no bar hours, no nightclub activity. Alcohol service is controlled by licensed servers and ends in accordance with event schedules and city requirements. The property is located within an existing commercial complex and is incompatible with surrounding business. Events are scheduled in advance to minimize overlap when possible. All events are indoors with no outside bar service, and operations are managed to minimize noise and traffic impacts. Parking has been carefully analyzed based on the approved square footage and proposed bar use in accordance with the Scottsdale zoning ordinance. This application demonstrates that parking demand be accommodated through existing parking resources and approved alternatives. I'd like to clearly state that I accept and agree to comply with all staff recommendations, conditions of approval. No future expansion or deviation is requested beyond what is before you today. Thank you for your time, and I respectfully ask for your support and happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Joyner, she has a question for you.
Thank you for your presentation. I must admit, I've been to your facility numerous times. It's beautiful, but I have a question. I have heard a couple little rumblings about some parking issues when the farmer's market is there. So, and one of them said that literally the streets are blocked. So how do you handle that if you're going to have an event, or do you just not schedule when that farmer's market's going to be there?
Yeah, so farmer's market's there every Saturday. So we also have Cars and Coffee. We had to move that to Sunday to allow for the parking and the conflict. My events are very sporadic. They, maybe I do 20 a year. Last year about 20, and it was a good year.
Good.
So I've analyzed, I've taken pictures when the businesses are open. There's, kind of come and go. There's only one business open at night, and most of my events are in the evening to afternoon to evening. So Saturdays are popular, Fridays, but I've analyzed with the grill being open, the restaurant, there's still a lot of parking because nobody else is open. All those businesses are closed, on Sundays are closed. I've never seen a parking issue.
Yeah, I actually drove it today, and I have to admit, I wasn't aware that you had all that parking behind your building. So there's quite a bit, and there was not one car parked there, so.
Yeah, it's a ghost town.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question, or do you, I'm sorry, I probably should have waited until after we did. Okay. We do have one, thank you, you could sit down. We're going to have another speaker come up. We do have one speaker request here, Mr. Tim Lasota.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Tim Lasota, 2198 East Camelback Road, and I'm here representing Howard Leon, who's in the audience today. But I did want to mention that actually there are 6 total owners at the villages at Pinnacle Peak, and 5 of the 6 of them have submitted a letter. Can I have the Elmo? I don't know how it didn't end up in the packet, but this was submitted in July. And all 5 of them, other than Alpio's, of course, is in opposition to this conditional use permit. And I'll get into some of the reasons, but there it is. There's 4 because one of the persons owns 2 of the 6 units. I guess sort of it was kind of interesting how the previous presentation was with regard to Old Town Tavern, and it's hard to imagine a sort of more of a contrast than this application, because this application is way out in North Scottsdale, obviously, and it's an area where already there's limited retail. I think one of the big concerns is that what limited retail there is will be cannibalized by this use and what it does to the parking. So what is, and by the way, if I could have that a little bit more clear, this is the occupancy we're talking about here. 182 bottom, 62 top. We're obviously talking about some really big events that are possible in this facility, and that's one of the things that makes my client very nervous and urges you to oppose this. We heard the applicant talk about a lot of things before, none of which are in any stipulations that I can see, other than I did see one, there's going to be no live music. But she talks about, well, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. I mean, the bottom line here is, once this permit is secured, there are a lot of things she can do. And just relying on her good word that she's not going to do them is something that is unacceptable to my client, and I hope is unacceptable to you, especially since these uses are governed by restrictive covenants, and this use would violate those restrictive covenants. My client intends to enforce those. But, and I know you would say, well, that's not our business, that's a matter of private contract, and that's true. But when we have a presentation which is almost completely, trust me, I think that does kind of enter into our thinking anyway. So that's 244 total occupants, what is allowed. In terms of, and I also wanted to talk about the actual application, which is very small print, but there's very little information that's actually in the application itself. This is attachment 3 to the staff report. It's hard to read, but I would note that under the Scottsdale City Code, the zoning ordinance, the applicant bears the burden of demonstrating compliance with the conditional use permit criteria. So what do we have for number 1? This is A1, conditional use will not be material.
Mr. Lasota,
Yeah.
I just want to interrupt you real quick. I think something was going on with our timer here, and you're almost at your 3 minutes. So if you could maybe wrap it up for us.
Okay, it says, I was just paying attention to that, and it says I still have time, but okay, I'll wrap it up. I mean, frankly, I don't need much time because the applicant put very little in terms of actual pen to paper. And, but, bottom line is, she says, well, don't worry, I'm going to comply with all Scottsdale City codes and ordinances. Well, she has to do that anyway. That's very little insurance. Obviously, traffic, I think people have heard about that. Parking are big concerns. This is a dark sky area. There's nowhere to park around here. It's not like the Old Town Tavern where we heard about this lot's over here and that lot's over there. There's nothing here, nothing, other than the actual parking that we have, which we think is inadequate for the types of events that this venue could accommodate if you approve the conditional use permit. I urge you to vote no in terms of your recommendation to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lasota. Commissioner Joyner, I think you had a question for the speaker.
Mr. Lasota, could I have you come back up, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? Let's let the applicant respond.
I just have one question of him.
Okay.
Mr. Lasota, are there not already 2 other restaurants and bars in that area?
Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner, there's one restaurant. It does have a bar, and I think there's another restaurant opening.
Yes.
But this isn't a restaurant. This is a use permit for a bar. I mean, they don't need a restaurant to go with it, with what the applicant is proposing. But there would be 2 two total restaurants once the other one is open again, and there were two. Last time I was up, there were two. Now there's
Right.
only one. So, and there's a gym, not to mention 9 other businesses or 10 other businesses.
Okay, thank you.
All right, would the applicant like to come up and respond to any of those comments?
Yeah, as far as the bar, it sounds like it's kind of a negative thing, but really, I'm a private event center. I have all my bar certifications. I'm actually, I brought packets with all that in there if somebody wants to take a look at it. I've done my due diligence to make sure I'm protecting the public, the patrons, our guests, and it's not like I'm running a bar full-time. I'm doing this just to be in compliance and to, have these events. People can come and enjoy. Sure, alcohol is kind of a main thing. They want to enjoy it with their friends. So as far as, all my credentials, everything that I've secured to do this and continue, I have liquor liability. I've got, I'm actually certified special event contractor for State of Arizona Liquor Board. I've got my food handlers because I'm doing catering, and so, I'm just trying to have a nice center for people to come and enjoy. Like Ms. Joyner said that she's been there. It's a fun place. I hold a lot of political events, and the new owner, he was going to be here tonight, but he's actually there entertaining friends. So, yeah, it's just I'm not doing anything that I haven't done for the last years. I've never had any complaints. People love to come there, and the neighbors, I've had 2 open houses. I've had people in the surrounding areas come, some city officials, and asked them, even if I had live entertainment, which I have not applied for that, but they said, no, we never hear any noise coming from Alpio's.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes, for the applicant. First of all, do you have any idea of opening hours of when you would be doing these events?
I usually run it, on average, our hours are, it could be like a late morning time to 11, 12 o'clock at the latest we've been there, and nobody's even open in the area. And all my events are inside. If I do something outside, then I apply with the city special event permits. If I have any vendors or, things that are outside. Cars and coffee, we have permits for that. But my hours are basically, everybody wants to have a party around 4 or 5 o'clock till 9. And it's, kind of a quiet area up there. So a lot of my clientele are older people. They're not very many young partying people.
So
And I'm glad.
I understand. Thank you. What I guess maybe the events that I've been to and into that area and stuff like that, it seems like you have a lot of outside part of the venue. Is that typical for you? Outside the building constraints, not in the parking lots, but in your perimeter of the sidewalk and everything, you have a lot of outside participation?
No, only if I do, then I apply with the city for the special event permit. And there's times I've had things. I did have a very small car show during Car Week here, corporate event, and because it was just a 1-hour event, I applied, and they said, no, you don't need it if there's going to be music outside, anything like that. But nobody's allowed to leave the building with, any alcohol. I strictly monitor that.
So, and then when you did that event, where do you think most of the people parked at that time period? Because it was pretty full.
Yeah, and that was, we had an early morning corporate lunch, and then there was a break for a couple of hours. Then 4 to 5 was the car show. I just block off in front of the building and across the way because the restaurant's not open yet. So I had X amount of nice exotic cars, hot rods and stuff, and so I block it off like some of the other people during farmers market. They're blocking off spaces because it's coming in and encroaching on their parking, but I have never had a parking issue, and I've done this for over 8 years.
Yes, and did you, I believe is on the road opposite of your side of, let's say, you're on of the roadway, you're on the south side. Am I correct on that? So on the north side, I noticed that there was a lot of parking up and down that area. Is that a parking or a no parking zone?
On the street on East Joe Max?
Yes, off the street onto that dirt easement there.
Yeah, it's never been any of our vehicles, any of our patrons. And like I said, the businesses are never open when I have my events.
Okay.
Even the grill, I monitored that strictly. And
Well, I was talking more about on the other side of the other side of the roadway.
oh, the roadway out there? No, no one parks on the street. Farmers market time, yeah, people are parking there because there's not enough. I was just there on Saturday, and plus, you know, they blocked off areas where you can't even get an emergency vehicle coming in and around. But when I have my events, I never have an issue. And parking on the street is, I guess, just recently acquired some parking in a vacant lot across the street. Maybe that'll help. But my events are 40, 50 people. Maybe I'll get 125 at the most.
What's your occupancy in that building right now as it stands?
What
The occupancy, the fire marshal's occupancy?
Yeah, so I have an occupancy load. I was asked by the city of Scottsdale marshal, fire marshal. I was asked to, well, they came out, they ran the numbers, gave me 180 downstairs, 60 upstairs. Nothing happened. I called. They said, no, they're not comfortable right now because I'm going through this permit. So they asked me to hire an architect. I hired the architect. He came out. He had the same numbers. That's in my application. And I would like to get my placard on the wall. I've been waiting to get through this so I can get that up. But yeah,
So how many total did you come up with?
182 downstairs and 60. I have 2 mezzanines up top. One's a game room, one's a lounge. So he gave me 60 up in those total.
So 180 and plus 60?
Yeah, 60 up for the 2.
Okay, 240? Is that the number you came up with?
But yeah, I get requests for 200, and no, that's too much. And it depends on the assembly. So that's based on assembly. So I have movable chairs, tables. I have a couple of nice cars in there right now that I can pull them out. And when I set up my buffet tables and stuff, I need the room. So yeah, we don't want to overcrowd.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to ask Tim some questions if I don't mind. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Lasota, giving you a little bit more time right now to basically just reply as far as what I was asking on the occupancy and things of that nature. Do you see a problem with that?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Gonzalez, yes. I mean, that's the reason I'm here. That's the reason Mr. Leon's here. And again, we hear sort of all these things that are not in the application, are not in stipulation. They're nowhere. And the applicant talks about corporate lunches. Oh, but I'm only open at night. I mean, it's not, even if she weren't doing that, which she said she is, but it's not what she's doing, it's what she could do. So, and corporate lunches are obviously not at night. The farmer's market happens to be a compatible use because it's Saturday morning. This one is not confined like that at all. She didn't say anything, oh, we're only going to have this on Saturday nights. And that is the issue. And you heard the applicant herself talk about the very high occupancy levels. So That is her, in terms of all this stuff she says, is not her ceiling. Her ceiling is right there on paper, the one I showed you, 244.
Yes. And then, I guess, do you know how many spaces are total in that area? Do you know the parking spots, how many parking spots are in that center?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Gonzalez, the number I have is 192. I think the staff report says it's close, but has a little few more, but I think it's 109. Our count is 192.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
I had one question for the applicant, but it would just be really quick if you wanted to come back up there. Or you could give me an affirmative, but yeah. The question is, do you have any events outside in the parking lot in the evening or at nighttime?
I have, and like I said before, anytime I'm outside of my doors, I apply with the city of Scottsdale. I have a very good working relationship with them, and I put in my application, just went through the training on the new system, and so I let them know this is what I'm doing. It's pretty detailed, and if they say, no, you know what, you don't need it, I just go off of that, like the car show. But yeah, definitely if I have any vendors, any music outside, good example, cars and coffee. We have people parking all over, they're looking at cars, coming in, getting coffee, donut holes, walking around. I have a solo guitarist playing, so that requires, because that's an outdoor activity, that requires the permit.
Does that happen in the evening, at nighttime? I'm just curious.
We've never had cars and coffee, but if I do have an evening event, anything outside, which rarely my events are outside, but if they do, I apply because I don't want to be in a situation.
And then how late do those potentially go to?
If I had an outdoor event, maybe 9. Yeah, most of my events end pretty early.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Actually, I have a question for the applicant as well. When you have some of these larger events, do you use a valet service?
A what?
Valet service?
We have, yeah. Many people like to bus up there, so I actually have a friend that he does that, and a lot of times they get their own hotels, Four Seasons up the street. They can bus people in, and we prefer, I prefer it, especially if they're having some cocktails, that, you know, they have a good, safe ride home. And, but I do have lots of resources. I have vendor lists that have all that on there. It's a little bit of a drive, too, so some people like to carpool.
So which building in relationship to the one where it says site is the restaurant use?
Yeah, the restaurant is down below on the far side, on
the bottom left
side, yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you're having a big event, I mean, the whole site is kind of self-parked, so you could park wherever you want if they wanted to come to your venue.
Yeah, it's all public parking, and the grill, most of them park around their building, and then I have an area between the other building on the right there, and then between my buildings, so they park in there, but I have all that parking all the way back.
Okay, so I'm assuming that if that's the only restaurant use that's in there, there's no reserved parking spaces for that specific use, so their patrons don't have to park all the way at the north end and then walk all the way down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Ertel?
Question for staff. Have you looked at the parking on this project?
Chair Young, Commissioner Ertel, yes, we have verified the parking is adequate for the code.
So you're satisfied with it? You did your analysis?
Correct. Currently, from what the site plan proposes, is 198 stalls, and there's 204 on site.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions, comments? All right. Commissioner Joyner?
I'd like to make a motion, please. I make a motion for recommendation of approval to City Council for Case 7 UP 2025 after finding that the CUP criteria have been met and the proposed conditional use permit is consistent and conforms with the adopted general plan per the attached stipulations.
Second.
That was a tie. Who are we going to give it to? All right, we got a motion and a second. Sorry?
At what point can I make a comment? Before or after you make the motion?
Mr. Curtis?
Motion and a second.
We've got a motion and a second. I think we got to vote on that, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I didn't even hear the question.
Commissioner Gonzalez asked if there's still an opportunity for him to make comment, but since we've got a motion and a second on the table, I believe that we've got to vote on that.
There's still an opportunity to make a comment.
Okay.
After the.
All right.
Before you vote.
Great. Okay, Commissioner Gonzalez.
I guess maybe the comment I was going to make was that I believe in the applicant's, what she says is what she believes to be true. Unfortunately, I believe in this case, the application runs with the ownership of the property. Am I correct on that?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Gonzalez, the conditional use permits run with the land regardless of the ownership?
Right. So it continues on. So if we make a decision tonight, that's it. That's the way it goes. No matter who or what owns it, it goes with the land.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Gonzalez, you're making a recommendation to the City Council that will make the final decision.
Okay. But basically, it goes with the ownership of the land, not with the applicant. Is that correct or incorrect?
It runs with the property regardless of ownership, correct?
Right. Very good. So I guess mainly what, okay, yes, sir.
Let me just clear something up, Chair and members of the commission. While conditional use permits do run with the land, they're not permanent in that they're subject to revocation if there is not in compliance with the conditions in the conditional use permit. So it wouldn't be correct to say that once you award a conditional use permit, that it can never be revoked or taken away or modified, if that's kind of your concern. So I just want to clear that up.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Then I guess maybe what my other concern would be that if a new owner or another application comes forward, then would that be a new application as far as what they want to do with these hours and things of that nature?
So, yeah, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Gonzalez, a new operator could come in and operate a bar. It could be operated differently. I mean, typically what happens is, from a liquor license standpoint, and that's what mostly this is, they want a Series 6 bar liquor license from the state, and our code requires a conditional use permit for that type of license. So a new operator would transfer a Series 6 to this location and operate as a bar, and they could operate it differently if that's your point.
So basically, I guess maybe what I'm also going to lead up to is the opening and closing hours of this establishment does not have to be fixed then?
So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Gonzalez, we haven't recommended hours to be fixed. The applicant hasn't suggested hours to be fixed. Typically, hours of operation are generally fixed with live entertainment and not so much with bars, typically. But it certainly could be something that could be discussed.
Because this is a private, is this a private event venue?
So yeah, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Gonzalez, as described to us, it's a private event venue, but it doesn't always have to be a private event venue, if that's what your point is.
I understand. Well, what I'm trying to get back at is the liquor law, as far as the closing time and everything. They have to close up at 1 o'clock, or can they keep going on after 1 a.m.?
So, again, Planning Commission, the liquor law allows liquor sales to 2 in the morning.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And so there's no obligation for the applicant to notify the state if they change their hours, but that's what the law allows, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Unless there's any further comment or questions.
You look at me like you expect one, so okay.
Well, you'd like to say your piece.
My usual three steps. Aesthetics, it's a good-looking place. It's fun to go there. Amenities, as was pointed out, it's a venue center. There aren't a lot of venue centers that size in that area, so it's a good amenity for the area. Economics, we've already heard that it's going to bring in people that are going to be staying in hotels. It's going to make money for the city. It's going to make money for the vendors. So, all three things, checked all 3 boxes. That's my comment.
All right. I think we're ready for a vote now.
Chair Young,
Yes.
Vice Chair Scarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
I find the application kind of lacking a little bit on information, therefore I'm going to vote no.
Commissioner Ertel,
Yes.
Commissioner Joyner,
Yes.
Commissioner Drake.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Looks like we're at the end of the meeting. I'll take a motion for adjournment. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.